Red Shadow. I saw it on the news, and we're going to plant a pumpkin patch.
If anybody's ever seen the Bill Murray movie, Groundhog
Day
is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that movie.
Doing something over and over and over again, and that is a great movie.
Someone said today that they should just announce a sequel and re-release the original.
Right. My question is, how come Washington don't have a groundhog? Every year it's always, Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania.
So Washington should have a groundhog because are you guys familiar with a place called Grand Mound?
Oh, yes. Right.
Down near Olympia?
Okay, yeah.
Pocket gophers everywhere. And actually, it's the largest structures, like this side of the Mississippi. It is the coolest thing ever. And it's like a mecca for pocket gophers. So, yeah, I'm like...
We do have a groundhog.
Do we?
Every state has a groundhog. There is some small town somewhere that has a groundhog.
But they always use Phil in Pennsylvania.
Then why isn't our groundhog on the local news?
That's my question. Why don't we have a groundhog on 24?
I think we should just scrap the...
He's not
I think
enough.
We should just, go with the pocket gophers. They're in abundance south of Olympia.
I think we should just admit that there's going to be 6 more weeks of winter every year. It's going to happen.
Right. So we've talked spirits. Let's talk about Fae for a second. So,
actually, Coop.
Yeah.
One more real quick interruption, if you don't mind.
Uh-huh.
I got one question about, either hallowed ground or sacred ground or anything like that. What about spirits on that?
Like First Nations, Native American?
Yeah, and like churches and kind of anything like hallowed or anything sacred.
So, anything sacred, again, that is dictated by religion. When it comes to that, when it comes to sacred space. When you're talking Native American, if we have a haunting and that comes to the historical perspective, you always look at the historical background of the location.
Okay. Yeah.
So what I try to do is contact or find out who the local tribe is that may have owned that property, and try to find somebody that can go from the tribe to appease the spirits. Because, not to sound rude, but a native spirit is not going to listen to a white man.
Right, yeah. Yep.
So when you're looking at that, you try to get someone native to handle property that's possibly past tribal.
Right.
Yeah. Starting with an apology for smallpox? Just a question.
Say again?
Have you tried starting with an apology for smallpox?
So, oftentimes from the astral's perspective, if they can respectfully contact the tribal spirits, sometimes they will listen.
Rock on.
We've had that happen before. And then they'll actually turn around and be guardians and handle the spirits that are causing the problems. We've actually had that happen. So it's a case by case, like every case is. And again, we're not experts in this. There's no such thing as the expert. We learn something new every case we do. I want to clarify that. There's no such thing as an expert in this field. But every entity, and we might in about 20 years write a book, an entity classification book based on what we've seen, because I'm still confused what the ape-looking thing with fangs and no carver was. that was unique. In fact, Sarah was on that case. So, anything else on spirits?
I was gonna chime in and just a couple more things about like what would be like symptoms of a haunting, like cold spots. You feel watched, an uneasiness in certain rooms, being woken up randomly throughout the night, usually in the early morning hours between like 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. with no explanation. Glints out of the corner of your eyes. I know we mentioned orbs, but something that I've personally seen is colored orbs on a set object. Like there was an orange orb on my kitchen cabinet repeatedly. Like we couldn't explain it. And once we acknowledged it, it would zoop away. And everybody in the house saw it. Shadows. Your cat or dogs, any of your animals, even your ferret, staring very intently.
Or getting picked up and thrown. We've had cases like that before, too.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we didn't cover the myriad of everything that would be classified as symptoms of a haunting. So I didn't know if we wanted to go into that, but once you started talking, I'm like, oh, there's that. And then we just kind of rolled right along, and I'm like, we'll come back to it.
Well, actually, so we have 10 minutes left before our break. So let's go into the signs and symptoms, because so you got electrical anomalies, and that would be your lights coming on and off. That would be something worked 1 second and it didn't.
Yes.
The toaster. And again, you look for the mundane on all electrical type, but bear in mind the paranormal in all aspects, whether it's Bigfoot, whether it's UFOs, whether it's spirits or other entities, manipulate the paranormal, which is one reason I don't jump right off the bat with using apps when it comes to an investigation, because apps are electronic. They can be manipulated. Not saying don't look at apps. I want to clarify. If you can take that app, that spirit box, and you can vet the information that's coming through that spirit box, like the name Roger comes through, and Roger is a name that popped up that used to live there. Or Roger is a family member that passed on. Things of that nature. If you can vet your electronic information, then I would call it valid. But just remember, with the paranormal, electrical anomalies are common. Battery draining. If you've got batteries, if you just put brand new batteries in your EMF meter, and you walk into a location and all of a sudden they're drained, then you've got something.
Yes, and same with cell phones in a residence.
Yep.
In a residential setting, when we did boots on the ground, and we went to the client's house, and they actually said, oh, hey, by the way, we got to keep our phones on the chargers all the time. Well,
right.
There was a portal right there, and it was like a huge energy drain. Simple fix, close the portal. I don't know if their cell phones improved, but that was one of the things that they noticed is constant drain on their cell phone. And these were elderly individuals. So, to explain that to them, that is a possibility, it just kind of, good exchange of information kind of made me feel good, about what we do. And, there's a remedy for that. Let's, get the house fixed, stop inviting spirits in, and we'll move forward.
Well, and the other thing on a case we did is the doorbell was ringing at the same time every day, and they just connected the doorbell, and it was still ringing. It wasn't even connected, but the doorbell was still ringing at the same time every day. And electronic phenomena is a big indicator along with, the knocks, along with footsteps, along with seeing apparitions, seeing shadows. And we'll talk about shadows here shortly, probably the second hour.
Eric, that door thing?
Say it again?
That door thing, you know what I would try with that? If you know the exact time that doorbell rings, 2 minutes before, I'd go and open the door and leave it open.
No, you don't want to let them in?
I want to see if it still rings.
Yeah, it's true.
But you still don't want to let them. You don't want to invite them in. I mean,
well, you know who to call to do them.
Sometimes
you might be a
come
good
in
cook.
anyway.
You never know. Maybe you'll pay
They
rent.
send an invitation. Especially if it was Faye. Faye would just walk on in. And we'll get to Faye. Second hour. So yeah, agreed. Scratches. When it comes to the physical issues, you've got scratches, you've got bruising, you've got the feeling of your hair being brushed, the feeling of a hand on your shoulders. Sometimes we've had cases where the blankets were pulled. What else you got, Megan?
Oh, clients pinned down, pinched.
Those are severe.
Yeah. I had a very severe case. So,
or hands around your neck.
Yeah. No. I actually, had a really rough case with a client, and she went through a gamut of abuse from a spiritual attack, and tried to mitigate that the best we could. But yes, there was choking. It followed her to work. There was no reprieve for this client, and I'm just kind of having a throwback moment because everything was applicable in her case, and it was very overwhelming to deal with. And I think I called all hands on deck for that one. But she's recovering, thank goodness. But no, whispers, implanted thoughts, and feeling compelled to do something that you would not normally do.
Usually with that, you're delving into the realm of attachments.
Yes.
And we'll hit attachments because I think that.
Okay, attachments are later. Okay, so we're just on hauntings.
Right. We'll definitely We'll hit attachments in the second hour, and not to leave people hanging, but we're not going to hit protection because it's a whole other area, and we'll hit protection next week when we have a 3-hour show. Because we can do 2 hours of possessed items, objects, and wanted to get Ross Allison on that show, but he's busy, unfortunately. He's a prime speaker on haunted toys. But we'll hit paranormal protection, how to keep haunted items from coming into your home, or how to, you go to the antique store, you buy a new cabinet, and it's got an attachment to it, how to take care of it before it gets put in your home. But that'll be next week. But folks, watch your animals. Dogs, cats, they all see in the fourth dimension, which you can't see. They have a higher rate of senses. They can hear, they can smell. They know if something's in your home. If you find your animal following something down the hallway or looking at the ceiling,
or running away from it.
That too.
Yeah.
That too.
What about cold spots?
Okay, so cold spots. So scientifically, and correct me if I'm wrong here, scientifically, so for a spirit to manifest, it's got to pull all the energy around its air to manifest. And it takes a lot of energy to do it. But that actually is what causes the hot or the cold spot. So what we have on Boots on Ground is a digital thermometer. And people get surprised because a lot of the equipment we use is actually construction equipment.